Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video. Have you been thinking of selling prints? Maybe with a modest goal of paying for that new lens you've been lusting over, or even in hopes of making a living professionally as a photographer. In this video, I'll show you how to sell your prints online, how to price them, and how to execute your print sales in a way that looks really professional. And I'm getting back into selling prints after a 2-year hiatus, and I'll share the amazing innovation that brought me back, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing to set up my own online store. If you stay for my bonus tip, I'll share how to use an external printer but still have clients think it comes straight from you. My name is Simon D'Entremont, and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for nature photography. Subscribe if you want to see more.
Try to open up your mind sometimes. You'll be just fine.
So I've decided to get back into print sales after a 2-year break. Why did I stop in the first place? It's not that they weren't selling, it's that the administrative workload was just too much for me and I was just too busy with other things. I thought to myself, I'll get back into it when I find a way to make this easier. For example, when this famous tree in Nova Scotia where I live was knocked down by a hurricane, someone posted on social media that I had a nice photo of it. So some people wanted a memento. I got over 60 orders in a week, which all needed to be ordered and shipped. My price wasn't that high, so basically I was in a quantity business. I decided to put a hold on sales and focus on getting great photos, and when I started up again, I would focus on quality rather than quantity. Better papers, better media, and a more streamlined workflow. So let's go through the steps you need to go through to start selling online and successfully. The first thing you need to do is determine your goal for your print sales. This will help guide some of your decisions later, such as how much effort you'll put into it and how much to charge. For many people, you'll be selling prints for the first time as an amateur. And a good short-term goal is to have your hobby be self-sustaining. That is, your print business will pay for your gear and your trips. This is an excellent first goal. That way you can buy gear guilt-free. You've earned it. I don't recommend anyone starting off with a goal of quitting their job to make a living in the first month of selling prints. I recommend ramping up over time on the side, and if your photo business can rival your regular job's income at some point, cross that bridge at that time. There's so much to learn before jumping in with both feet. The next thing you need is sellable work. You need to have photos that make an impression and people would like as art in their home or office. Photos with a sense of place, like famous landmarks, are always a good idea, especially if you plan to target tourist areas. Unique action, great landscapes, and interesting moments also sell. Here are some of my best-selling prints ever. Now you need to pick your media types and offerings. When starting out, to keep prices reasonable, regular prints on photo paper are a wise place to start. If your market is more upscale, you can get into more premium products like fine art paper and acrylic. That's where the sponsor of this video comes in, Whitewall. As I mentioned earlier, I've been looking to get my own print store back up and running. But I also knew that my next foray was going to be more upscale and high-end. I just don't have the horsepower for a volume prints business. Some of you may have seen that I've already gotten several acrylic prints for my home. I absolutely love these. I got these from Whitewall and I couldn't be happier. They're based in Germany and have won many awards since they started up in 2007. They have all kinds of sizes, frames, materials, and quality options. They even have stores in New York, London, Paris, Hong Kong, Beijing, and more, and ship to over 50 countries. They've won Best Photo Lab worldwide and won TIPA World Awards 5 out of the last 6 years. Now, when choosing the product you want to sell, you definitely want to get test prints made. You need to know how your product looks on your planned media before you start selling it to customers. Whitewall offers discounts for test prints, a great feature. So I trust them to help me start up my new print store. So I went to their site to order some test prints for some of the prints I plan to sell, to try out some fine art papers. These are under Giclée prints. I went for large sample prints as I need to know how they will support large resolutions if that's what my clients want. Now to pick papers. When you're starting out, this doesn't seem very important, but once you see your photos on different papers, you'll notice how much of a difference it can make. Whitewall has lots of great paper choices. For this elephant shot, I went with the Canson Arches Aquarelle with a high tonal range, as there's a steady gradient here, and dark shadows I wanted to see what it would look like with. Just look at the texture of this paper. Just awesome. For this black and white line photo, I wanted to test something more specialized for monochrome images. These Hanamola papers are just amazing, and the fine art pearl is specifically pointed out as good for black and white. Check out the detail, clarity, and amazing texture. I wanted to try a glossy paper too. I chose the Canson Barita Prestige 2, amazing color reproduction, and a great fit for my Milky Way photos, as they look good in glossy, as well as matte finish. Another paper I wanted to try was a coarser paper to see if that works. This Hanamola Torsion looked like a great choice. Ooh, I like this one. By the way, I'm going to give all these sample prints away. Go over to my social media, Instagram and Facebook, which you can find by using this QR code, and I'll pick at random from anyone who comments on my post about Whitewall, and I'll send you one of these prints. Now you also need to pick matte or gloss finish and paper texture. Personally, I love the textured look. You may want to offer matte and glossy options for your clients. In the end, I like this Hanamola Photo Rag in matte finish. It's just so nice. But if you're having a hard time deciding because there are too many choices, here's another option: product samples. Check out all these samples I got from Whitewall. You can compare photo paper to fine art paper, glossy to matte finish, and aluminum to acrylic. As for framing, frame prints with glass are a pain to ship safely unless you have a printer that specializes in this. Now, Whitewall can definitely do this well, but I tend to sell prints without frames and let people have them mounted nearer to home. It keeps the shipping costs and the price of my prints down. Speaking of keeping prices down, now you need to price your work. How much to charge? I have a few different pricing model options. One is the cost multiple method. That is, looking at your cost to print and ship and applying a multiplier to that cost. Maybe 3 times at the low end, or maybe 4 or 5 times at the high end. So if a print costs you $25 to print and ship, $75 at the low end, or $125 at the higher end. Of course, you can go higher if you want, but at that point it's not really cost-based anymore. Some art is similarly sold by applying a cost per square inch approach, for example. So if you sell a print that's 30 by 40 inches and you charge 25 cents per square inch, that's $300. Starting out, maybe you can only charge 10 or 15 cents per square inch. Once established, you can continue to raise this and your print prices will go up accordingly. A hybrid of this is to start with a base price to cover fixed costs like your car and your business expenses, and then add a price per square inch for printing. So maybe a $50 base price plus a printing cost on a per square inch rate. By the way, some people apply the multiple to the printing cost only and then apply the shipping without markup because they don't want to make money on the shipping cost, which is not really their product. That's your call. Another model is the comparison pricing approach. Basically, what is the local market paying? This is a suitable model if you plan to market locally at shows, markets, or institutions, or if your market is generally likely to be local. In short, if everyone locally is selling a 20 by 30 inch print, that's 50 by 75 centimeters, for $200, I think you're shorting yourself by selling it at $100, and unless you're known, may have a hard time selling it for $300, for example. A third model is the effort to produce model, where you charge for your effort and your time. This one is a bit of a tricky one, but can work. If it takes you an hour to prepare the print the photo and package it and take it to the post office, and it took you 4 hours to hike to the location and the shot, then 5 hours times your hourly rate you decide you're worth, and voila. The downside of this model is, can you justify charging someone twice the price for a similar photo because the hike was twice as long? If the photo is no better, how do you rationalize the difference? One option is to average out the cost to produce amongst all of your work and basically get more consistent pricing across your product line. And finally, there's the what's it worth model. This is basically for when you're better known and people are willing to pay to have your work. Some people sell prints for $10,000. It's what the market will bear, for example. Some photographers don't like this model because it comes across as a bit elitist, or it's not related to the actual cost to produce. But when you're famous, that's how fine art and collectibles business works. Now, a few tweaks on pricing. You can charge more for scarcity, that is, limited editions. If you decide to only sell 10 of a certain print and only 10 forever, you can charge more as people will pay a premium for the rarity of owning one. Clearly, this is for better known photographers or super unique images that'll never happen again. Which one should you choose? That's up to you. But I recommend a more modest pricing model and working your way up. Start with smaller print sizes and modest pricing, then learn the business about how to ship safely, how to handle the business side, how to make sure your prints are high quality, then start raising your prices as the market will bear and as your reputation grows. Note that in Canada, once you sell more than $30,000 per year, you need to register for and charge sales tax. Check out your own rules where you live. Okay, now you need a platform for taking orders. There are a few options here. The most basic system is posting on social media and saying, if you want to print, message me. Clients can contact you via social media messaging, and you can arrange for e-transfer or form of payment like PayPal or Venmo. You get their information, arrange to send them the print. Once you've got that under your belt, another is to set up a website that can take orders. Some website platforms like Squarespace allow you to take credit card or PayPal payments. Now this model is what we call not e-commerce, but often e-pretend. That's because your client thinks they've just ordered a print, but all they've done is actually sent you a notification of an order. You now need to print the photo or order it separately on someone else's platform and get it sent to them. I did this for years and really didn't like the administrative workload around it. Another model is the print on demand via a consumer-focused web platform like Etsy. In this way, you have a place to sell your wares and use a third-party printer to print your work and deliver it. Be cautious though, as using this model may use different print shops around the world to print your work, and you have little control over quality control. The sweet spot for me is something I've been waiting for a while. A website platform and printer that can actually integrate their operating system and ordering system into my website. I remember the first time I started selling prints and I looked around to try to find a way to integrate the printer's ordering platform on my website, but to no avail. But times are a-changing. Finally, I've partnered with Whitewall to add Whitewall's ordering system to my website. So now in my new print store, you get Whitewall options just like at the Whitewall site. And the order goes straight to Whitewall, no more e-pretend. See here on my new prints page on my website, the options available are just like on the Whitewall store. You go and set up product options on the Whitewall site and link them up to your own website. They allow you to match up your prints with various options like papers available, and you can decide the markup you want to apply, and they even tell you what your profit margin will be on each size. Set up an account with Whitewall and then click on the B2B, that's the business to business button, to see how to set this up. Now it's execution time. Now will you print your own or get your third-party printer shop? If you choose a print-on-demand website for order taking, this is already decided. But many people do start off by printing their own. It's inexpensive as startup costs, as a printer isn't terribly or onerous or expensive, and the cost per print is very low. You can do your own quality control and shipping. Note though that this can be a lot of work. I've never found this attractive personally, as I'm always looking to streamline my workflow. Now you can also get a print shop to print for you. This is still my preferred approach for calendars, for example. Some will offer volume discounts to business sellers of prints. But for a global market, my choice is Whitewall. Not only do I have the integration on their site, but their global presence means that I can get prints printed and shipped all over the world and well packaged. Plus, I've done the packaging and shipping thing. I didn't like it. So now I've relaunched my print store and it's totally hands-off for me. People can go to my website, head to the print section, and right there order a print of the size that they want. The order goes straight to Whitewall and I get paid my share. Easy as pie and totally passive income for me, as I don't need to do anything. This is finally what I've been waiting years for and what pushed me to start selling prints again. And I promised you a bonus tip, and that's how do you use a third-party print shop but make it look like the print came directly from you? That's done by figuring out if the printer has an option for what's called white label. That means that the print is shipped in an unbranded white envelope or package. As such, it could be directly from you. That way, your brand is what sticks with the customer. Don't forget to give Whitewall a look and comment on my social media post that will go along with launching this video on this topic to get a chance to win a free print. And I hope that you can use this information to start selling prints and making money from your photography right away. I know you can do it.